our leader, Mr. Craig Proctor. Craig, how you doing?
I'm doing real good, Todd. Pleasure to be here today, and we're talking about a very important topic.
Yeah, this is one of, we were talking about this just a couple minutes ago where, and you asked me, hey, how many of our Platinum Program members really leverage, their success in getting free PR? And I said, you know what, not very many. And which I believe what makes this a very good topic today, because they are successful. I mean, most of our members are very successful, some of them highly successful, but yet they're not able to project that story or tell that story and get others to tell it for them as a result of it. So I think today's session on this will be very beneficial for everybody watching. So thanks for letting us do it and leverage some of the things that you've done in the past. And you've had some great success with this in terms of free PR. I threw it up on the screen there so everybody can see, just some of the newspaper articles that were reprinted or ran as a result of press that you were creating. But anyway.
Yeah, and I've got to say, like, it started accidentally for me. I mean, I got a lot of free PR accidentally when I became the top Remax agent at such a young age. But that's really when I understood the importance of it, because I immediately understood how much more powerful it was when you could get the media to say good things about you. Now, the problem with that is that can't be replicated. You can only be the top agent for Remax at 29 years of age once. You can't repeat that. So I had to come up with other ways of getting free PR. So does everybody understand that? It wasn't that I was so brilliant that I knew that I should get free PR when I was, 2 or 3 years in the business. I wasn't. As a matter of fact, had you said to me back then that, Craig, you're even worthy of getting on the front page of the Toronto Star or the Ottawa Citizen or getting on the national television, I would have laughed and thought it was, impossible. Why would someone want to cover little old me? But when I accidentally got this free PR, then I started to pay attention to this, and I started to purposefully try to get more of it. Now, like I said, I couldn't replicate. You're only going to get this kind of PR about the number one thing in 29 years of age. That wasn't duplicatable. And I had to figure out, okay, well, what can I do to create this kind of buzz? And is there a formula? Can I crack the code to get through to the gatekeepers? Who are the gatekeepers of the media? Well, it's the the editors, the publishers. Understand that the media people have a big job every day, right? Like if it's a daily paper or a daily radio show, television show, whatever, they've got to fill the newspaper, the airwaves, whatever, with valuable information. So the idea that I had was, let's just do the work for them. We know that people are lazy, right? So let's just, figure out what that formula is. Let's figure out what a good press release should look like. Let's even create a Q&A, like we're even going to tell them what questions to ask us and give them the answers. Let's create a bio as to why they should even listen to us. Make their job so easy that whenever they've got to cover a story on real estate, you become the go-to person. And that's what happened. Whenever the television, the radio station, the newspaper was running a story, anything to do with real estate, they would call me. And I didn't always know the answers. Like if they were, asking me questions, for example, about, maybe they were asking questions about mortgages or lending. If I didn't know the answer, I wouldn't, fake it. I would refer them to my lender. I would refer them to my real estate attorney. But I became a very valuable connection for the media people. Okay, so here's the template for the press release. Well, that's the blank one. Do you have the actual example of it there as well, Todd? Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's the template, and then I think we include here. This is on the coaching side anyway, if we don't have it, but we included an example of a press release. Now, you might be saying, okay, well, Craig, what opportunity do I have to get free PR? Well, look at this. We're basically using the same strategy as the strategy we use with editorial ads, right? We're going to offer information. That's the easiest way or the biggest opportunity that all of you have to get free PR is to help people solve problems. Right? People have problems. They have questions. They have concerns when it comes to buying and selling real estate. So we can just use that exact same formula, the same formula we use at the editorial ads, which is frustrate the person with a problem and give them the answer. Well, we definitely want to make sure that we include our contact information on any free PR that we do, because what good would it do to do an awesome interview and get written up on the full page, front page of your local paper if people don't know how to get a hold of you, or you give them no reason? So try to always offer information, a free report on this or that, offer them information, a reason to contact you, and make sure that the publication, the radio station, the television station, that they let you include your contact information. Because if they don't let you include the contact information, it's a big waste of time. Okay, so here we have Bob Zachmar in Tucson, and he is doing, this is back in '09. We've got a bunch of them here. He's doing a press release on the marketplace. Tucson, Arizona, in the past 7 days, 343 buyers have contacted Win3 Realty. So, look, what's the worst thing that could happen? The worst thing that could happen here is you create a press release, you spend, 20 minutes, a half an hour on this. It costs you a couple pennies because it's just a piece of paper, and you're going to fax or email this to the media people. The worst thing that would happen is you don't get covered. Nobody follows up with you. Well, try again. Not every press release I created was a big booming success. And don't bother waiting around, the telephone. If they don't call you right away, it just means they weren't interested. So try again with a different topic. Okay, so we have the Johnsons here, okay, in Fort Lauderdale. And here's a press release. South Florida realtors turn home sales into hope to benefit local children's charities this holiday season. Okay, that is an awesome excuse or reason to create a press release. You might have mine here, Todd. I did stuff every year with the Salvation Army. And there'd be a picture of me and my kid, and we're giving toys to the kids at Christmas time. So if you're doing any charity, if you're involved in any community work, that's a really good thing to leverage off of. Yeah, here I am. Loads of toys.
Took Brandon along with him. He's a little smaller than in this picture.
Yeah, Brandon now is 21 years of age. He goes to university. But here he is. He's probably, I don't know, 9 or 10 years old in this picture. Yeah. And that's Sandra Rice. That's our contact at the Salvation Army. So, I mean, a lot of us are doing the charity or community work anyway.
Mm-hmm. Here's one.
I like that one. Obama was right. And, I've never heard you say that, Todd.
You probably won't either. But Tim and Rosangela did, and you can see that they basically leveraged the accreditation that we give all of our platinum members at www.platinumrealestateagents.com. So they kind of leveraged that into a press release, and actually, I think if I remember correctly, it got them a little bit of mileage, good or bad. But using Obama in the press release, I don't know. We'd have to get Tim's observation on that.
Well, no, leveraging off of any headline. Anything that's newsworthy. I mean, you could be leveraging off of the fiscal cliff or the sequester. I mean, anything that's newsworthy, you can leverage off of these stories. So I don't know. In Florida right now, you might want to talk about sinkholes. I don't know. There's always local things going on. I'll give you a quick example. Let's say that in Metro Atlanta right now, Todd, that there were education cuts. Well, you could do a press release talking about how these education cuts might affect home values, right? Or let's say there's a great big huge company, Apple's moving into Atlanta, Georgia, and they're going to hire, thousands of people. You can leverage off of that and talk about how that's going to have a positive impact on house prices. So leveraging off a hot news story is another awesome way to get printed up. And Willie Miranda, for example, in Albany, New York, he has done a number of television interviews with his local Albany news station about real estate. It's an example of every time the television station has to do a story about real estate, Willie has positioned himself as the go-to guy. And how does it position him? As the expert, right? If Channel 7 continually goes to Willie Miranda and they're asking Willie his advice or about his forecast for the marketplace, he really is positioned as the expert. And that's what we want, right? Because when you're the expert, you don't have to sell as hard. And you will get people who just call you saying, I saw you on television, or I read your article, the news story in the newspaper. People are silently begging to be led. People, they really don't want to interview agents. They would really like to just know who they should trust and just call that person. So this is a great idea. And again, let's repeat the price. It's nothing. This costs you nothing. And it's way more valuable than any ad that you may spend thousands of dollars on. You see, you and I, we can't buy this type of credibility, this type of positioning. Okay, so there's 4 ways to get free publicity. One is to be controversial. Well, you got to be careful with that one because, if your view is too extreme, people may exclude you. But, hey, there's been lots of people that have been super successful in the media by being controversial. Donald Trump, is he controversial? Absolutely. Glenn Beck, there's people that are pretty controversial out there, right? Have a pet rock. Well, number 2 is have a pet rock. You can't really create a pet rock. Let me give you an example. When I was named the top RE/MAX agent at age 29, after only 3 years in the business, that was a pet rock. I can't duplicate that. That's just something that happened. It's kind of rare that some guy that lives at home in his parents' basement, who's only been in real estate for a couple months, ends up becoming the top RE/MAX agent in a small little town. But I understood I can't duplicate that. I can't top that. I can't make that happen again. So that's an example of a pet rock. Now, I rode that horse as far as I could, believe me. But it wasn't duplicatable. Like after 6 months or so of that, it's not news anymore. It's long forgotten about. Nobody cares that Craig Proctor did this. And it's over. So I had to come up with other ways of creating something newsworthy.
And you did a pretty good job with that. Like if by using just the everyday ads that you were running, like the editorial ads you said.
Yeah, that's your biggest opportunity. Just take a couple of my editorial ads and convert them into press releases. That's all we've done here. Costly home seller mistakes that almost every Atlanta home seller makes. Something like that. And I call this media torture as well, because you can imagine the media people sitting at their desk and they get this press release from Todd Walters. It says costly, 7 costly home seller mistakes that almost every Atlanta home seller will make. Well, that's media torture because you're kind of challenging the media people to call you and say, okay, what are the 7 mistakes that almost every Atlanta home seller makes? So that's a good strategy. And if you ever go to a grocery checkout, you know that all of these, I don't know, what are they called? I call them rags. All these, newspapers at the checkout. They take advantage of, prospect torture. So you get to the checkout, and it might be that, like, I don't know, National Enquirer or whatever, and it might say, 7 surefire signs that your spouse is having an affair on. Well, if you're at the checkout and you kind of think your spouse might be having an affair, you might pick that up and read it. So that is, an example of consumer torture. Well, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to use media torture. So, here's another example. The 3 things that a seller should never say to a potential home buyer. Well, what are those 3 things? That's media torture. They might call you to say, Todd, what are these 3 things that a home seller should never say to a buyer that's looking at their home that would, kill the sale? So this is really easy. And don't get discouraged if the first couple times you do it, you don't get a home run. Well, keep in mind, neither did I. If you think of all the money and all the time you spend doing all these other things, just spend a little bit of time on this. And again, the price is right. It costs you nothing. However, it provides you with greater positioning than any ad or set of ads or money that you could spend promoting yourself. Anything you want to add to this conversation?
Yep, I got an interesting story in terms of the controversial side of it. I was asked to speak at the local Board of Realtor event. It was some sort of promo thing they were doing. There were about 300 agents there. They called me up and they said, hey, Todd, since you're the #1 agent at the Board of Realtors, would you be interested in coming and talking about marketing? And I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. So then they said, well, would you, maybe share with everybody there what you're doing to generate business? I said, yeah, I'll even bring along my best ad. And they're like, really? And I was like, yeah. So anyway, so showed up at the event there. And it was a luncheon, so everybody's out there eating. And I throw up, and I say, man, this is our best ad that we're running right now. And I throw it up on the screen. It was your ad. How to sell your home without an agent and save the commission. Well, hell, dude, you could have heard of like a pin drop at that moment in time in that room full of realtors, and everybody was paying real close attention then, and got lots of sneers and boos and a lot of negative comments from the real estate agents that were in that room then. Well, so I turned it around. I've looked everywhere for this press release, but I turned it around and basically issued the release saying that area's top agent booed by fellow real estate agents for helping homeowners sell their own house. And it was really good, but it cemented my standing in the board community at that time in terms of really what I was trying to accomplish in generating more business. And then, so that's very controversial. It didn't win me any friends in the industry, but it was easier for me to recruit, and I got a lot of business from that. And I became known as an advocate for people in the area wanting to sell their house versus just like all the other real estate agents. So that's a real interesting story on this. Another one that I'll throw up here, and I'll throw it up on the screen, is recently I did a little workshop in town here to recruit agents for my real estate company. So I leveraged the fact that I had been written about in the $1 Billion Agent book. So that's what I titled the session there, Whole New Way to Sell More Real Estate, 4 hours with a $1 Billion Agent. And it was very successful. I had 115 agents register for this event, which was really just a recruiting event, did a little bit of teaching and a lot of selling. So so that was good. And as a result of some of the press recognition that I was getting from, here in town, through the Board of Realtors and other things that I'd done, I was contacted by this guy, Mr. Dan Richard, who wrote a book called The Real Estate Rainmaker Guide to Online Marketing, and asked me if he could use some of my stuff in the book and highlight me and talk about me and that kind of thing. So obviously I said, yeah, absolutely, that'll be great. So I said, just make sure I get a copy of the book and all your marketing promotional materials when you do it. And so we agreed to that. He sent all that over to stuff to me, and I turned around and used it in my marketing. So I become featured in Dan Richard's book, The Real Estate Rainmaker Guide to Online Marketing. So now when I'm talking about exposing your home, if you're a homeowner, on the internet and getting buyers from that, well, hell, I wrote the book on it almost. So great leverage. Once you get started with it, I guess you might say, it becomes easier to duplicate. But yes, you're right about that. You can only be #1 once, but you can leverage that status for an awful long time, like we did with the $1 Billion Agent stuff. So, heck, as a matter of fact, Craig, you'll like this. I've got this right here from, let me throw this up on the screen if everybody can see it. This is from 2003. The top 100 sales teams ranked by transaction size according to Realtor Magazine. And, so they got me in there at number 20. And, dude, I'm still using this to this day in terms of leverage, getting a free PR, recruiting agents, exposure in the marketplace, and the story goes on and on. So anyway, wanted to put
Okay,
that
I have
in there.
I have a really good example or idea. A really good idea for every Platinum member. Why don't you do a press release letting them know how committed you are to the real estate business by the fact that you're a Platinum member? You know, Todd and I can help you with a press release, and you can do a press release talking about how you're dedicated, you're committed enough that you spend the money, the time to come on webinars, to come to conferences. You're smart enough to network with other very top real estate agents from all over North America, and how unique that is, that hardly anyone does it. Okay, so I mean, there's so many different things that you're already doing, like being part of this program, that you can leverage off of. We've had, I'll tell you one thing, we've had Quantum Leap Award winners send out press releases and get really good coverage on that. But the fact that you're in a program, an advanced coaching, mentoring program like this, definitely sets you apart. So there's a press release. If you're coming to the Anaheim Super Conference, which I hope you all are, there's a press release. The other thing that you should be doing as well is you should be getting testimonials from other Platinum members. Okay, so if I'm Nathan Clark in Rhode Island, what I do, Nathan, is I would get testimonials from other Platinum members saying, hi, I'm Todd Walters, top agent in Metro Atlanta, and if I lived in Rhode Island and was thinking of selling my house, I would definitely contact Nathan Clark. So wouldn't that be a good idea, getting testimonials, even if you just use them in your listing presentation or your buyer presentation, from other top real estate agents that are in this program? So they're endorsing you and you're endorsing them. So not only are you going to have testimonials from past clients, you've basically got endorsements from other top real estate agents from all over North America saying, you know what, if I was a homeowner and I was in your marketplace, I would call Nathan. Now, I'm assuming most of you are already doing that, right? No?
Bad assumption.
You could even have how about this? You could even have a testimonial hotline. Okay, on any of your print advertising, or it could be a video even, and you've got your home sellers, your buyers giving you testimonials, either audio or video. But then you could bring a camera, get Platinum members to give you testimonials. Now, as soon as you get printed in the media, right? Here's what you're going to do. You're going to say you're going to put on all your ads as seen on Channel 7. Okay? As read about in the Toronto Star, the Ottawa Citizen, as seen on Venture, CBC Canada. So every time you get a press release, you can leverage off of that by promoting the fact that you've been covered in these different media. Probably the best example was the 939 free Toronto line. I mean, I rode that big time. I was in the local newspaper several times. I was in the Toronto Star. I was Barrie, that's the closest city that has a television station. I was on the Barrie television station 3 times, I believe. I was on CBC national television, including being on Venture. I mean, I leveraged that thing. Now, again, that's a pet rock, right? Once you do it once, you can't do it. But when these opportunities come up, you'll notice I do a pretty good job of taking advantage of them. Todd, you did the same thing, so do our top members. So we just want to make everybody aware that this opportunity exists, doesn't cost anything other than you being a little bit creative. And I know we have a lot of creative people in this program. Yeah, here's this is Toronto Star. Realtor picks up the long distance tab for area residents. Now, do you think that was a little bit more impactful than me running an ad saying, hey, I'm providing free calling to local residents? If the Toronto Star is covering this story, first of all, it's going to get bigger readership. but it makes me look like a hero. And it didn't cost me a penny. That did cost me a penny. See, now look there's a bus bench. That thing probably cost me $150 a month. Now go back to the Toronto Star article. Okay, that's $150 a month for the bench. Now if you go back to the Toronto Star article, that's free. What do you think I got more leverage from? From this, from free. But it's the Toronto Star saying something about me. Okay, here's the local paper, free long distance program expanded by real estate agents. So if you remember the story, this became so successful, I had to buy more lines so that callers weren't getting a busy signal. So that gave me another excuse to send out a press release. So everything you do is newsworthy. You just keep leveraging off of it.
Yeah, so let me remind everyone too now, because you're going to we're getting lots of questions here asking about, okay, where's this at? Where's the information on the coaching site, blah, blah, blah. Well, if you go to the coaching site and you go to underneath the resources tab, you can just click on Call Decks. Under resources, click on Call Decks, and it's going to be, let me just go ahead and do that so everybody sees what that looks like. When you click on Call Decks, it's going to be call number, what did we say it was, 17? Let me get this stream through here so everyone can see it. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. When you go to resources, call decks, and you're going to get all these calls here, and it's there it is. Call 18, public relations. Everybody can see that. Call 18, public relations. And when you click on that, that's where you're going to have access to a lot of these examples. What to do, what not to do, where Craig kind of walks you through it page by page by page by page, step by step by step. It's really easy to find. And then you've got that PR template and examples. So it's pretty easy to set this up, Craig. As a matter of fact, do you think this can be duplicated? I mean, can it be delegated, rather, to someone on our team to help us with this? Or is this a rainmaking activity in terms of actually sitting down and writing it?
I think it's a rainmaker activity. I think it's going to take our platinum members all they've got to make this work. Like, you've got to be creative. You've got to stick with it. I don't think. Well, let's put it this way: if you were successful at this, and you got on the front page of your big metropolitan newspaper, so what's the big paper in Atlanta?
Atlanta Journal and Constitution.
Okay, or you got on Channel 7 News. Is that a rainmaker activity? I say darn tootin' it is. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, yeah, I don't think, this isn't like getting keys cut or lock boxes installed or taking pictures. This is a rainmaker activity because the result of this, if you're successful, is huge.
Yeah, now tell us how important the bio sheet is with your press release and what that's all about.
Okay, when they call you, the first thing I notice the first things they ask for is a bio on you. Like, who the hell are you? Why should I listen to you? Right? So just have that prepared. The other thing that they're going to do is they're going to ask you questions. So I thought, well, how can I look really good? I'll send them the questions to ask me. Because when they ask me the questions, I'm going to know the answers. Right? Pretty easy to answer the questions when you're the person that wrote the questions. So I just came to learn from experience that as soon as they would call on a press release, they always ask for those two things, a bio on you, and they ask you a bunch of questions, so why not just have that already prepared? Now, again, they're not going to respond to every one of them.
Now, look,
but if you do it over and over and over and over again, pretty soon you can't be ignored, right? I mean, it's like, if you receive direct mail every week from a carpet cleaner and eventually you want to get your carpets cleaned, you're eventually going to respond.
Yeah, like when I look at your bio sheet, it's written like in third party, like somebody else wrote it about you.
Yep. That's done purposely.
Okay, so that's important.
Yep, that's a good point. That's done purposely because it doesn't sound like you're bragging about yourself when it's third person. You know, the worst biography to read is, you know, a biography that said I, me, I. You don't want to do that.
Okay.
So you write a third person.
All right. That's easy enough. All right. Let's the other thing is that these, you know, you kind of talked about this briefly, but we've got these question and answer sheet. Now this is basically, like you said, this is the guy at the paper, just like they were interviewing you. So you write out the questions and you include the answers. Is that right or no?
Sorry, say that again.
All right. Like right now, I'm looking at this question and answer sheet. So you obviously write these questions for the guy at the paper.
Right, but you also have the answers prepared.
Now, is that because that they may take this information and run with it? Why not just send them like just the article itself in your bio sheet?
Okay, let me tell you the honest reason why. Because people are lazy. How much of the work are we doing for these guys? Remember, what's their challenge? If you're a newspaper editor, you've got to fill that newspaper every day. What'd you call it? The Atlanta what?
Atlanta Urinal and Constipation. I'm sorry, Journal and Constitution.
Okay, well, they got to fill that thing every day with content that people in Atlanta want to read. If people in Atlanta, if it's not valuable content, they stop buying the thing. And newspapers are hurting, radio stations, television, they're all faced with the same deal. So people are lazy. True or false? True. So we're going to do as much of the work for the media people. We're going to have a killer press release. Remember, they might get tons of press releases. Yours has got to make the cut. You got to go to the top of the pile. So it's got to be interesting. So you've got to kind of follow the rules. If you follow the rules to the press release, it's clear to the media people that you know how to play the game. You're someone they should pay attention to. But then you're holding back your bio sheet and your Q&A sheet. So when they call you and they say, "Hey Todd, you know, you sent us this press release on the 3 things Atlanta home sellers should never say to a buyer, or it'll completely kill the sale of their home. Can you send us some information on that?" You're going to be able to send your bio. You're going to be able to send them some questions for the interview. It makes it easy for them. How easy is that when you even give them ideas? I mean, they're not enslaved by these questions, but you're giving them some ideas on some good questions to ask, and the questions have to further motivate them, right? So you've got a great press release. Then you send them the questions like, wow, this is easy. These are great questions. It's a great topic. This Todd Walters guy's even given me really awesome questions to ask. This is easy. My deadline's 5 o'clock tonight. I've got all of these stories that I could cover, but this Todd Walters guy is making this a no-brainer. I want to be out of here by 5 o'clock because I'm taking my kid to the ball game. I'm going to cover his story. It's just the way it works. The more of the work that you do for them, the more interesting, intriguing you make it, the easier you make it for them, the better the chances are they're going to go with you and your story. Now, once they cover you once, right, they know you. The first thing they're going to do when they call you, by the way, is they're going to chat you up and give you a little bit of a nut test. Right? They want to make sure you're not some volatile, crazy person. So they're going to chat you up a little bit. And if you hear them say, hey, Todd, that's great. Look, we'll call you. We'll follow up tomorrow. That's a bad sign because that probably means you're never going to hear from them again. They didn't like what they heard. So here's the key. When the media people do follow up with you, don't make stuff up. Okay, really don't fake it. If you don't know the answer to something, you're better just to be honest and say, I don't know, or point them in the right direction. If it's about, mortgage rules or something, refer them to your lender. Refer them to your legal attorney if it's about legal matters. Just talk about what you're really good at. And there's lots of things that we are really good at, right? So the next time a story comes in about real estate, okay, I'm the same guy. I'm out of here by 5 o'clock. I'm supposed to be going away, taking my wife somewhere. I've got to get this story done. I've got all these stories I could cover. Hey, I know. It's on real estate. I can call that Todd Walters guy. I know that guy. That's easy. He's a trusted source. He provided an awesome press release last time we talked, I'll just call Todd. And hey, it just so happens that Todd has sent me some other press releases here in the last couple of weeks. This is easy.
Yeah, like a couple of things. I just threw up on the screen here one of a press release that Bob Zachmeyer did, announcing or basically releasing the fact that he won the Quantum Leap award from you. So I was looking through some of materials for this program today, and I found this photo. Let me throw it up there so people can see it. I'll blow it up here. And I used this in leverage at my recruiting event recently that I did. I threw all these people up here. Let me just run through it. Basically establishing me side by side with you, surrounded by a bunch of very, very successful real estate agents, many of which are millionaire real estate agents in the Platinum program that, you know, I get to coach. So demonstrating a lot of value on it. But it got me thinking as I was looking at this that I wondered how many agents in this picture that we've given awards and plaques to but have never told the public about that, like Bob did in his example. So let me pull Bob's example back up there, and I think he did a pretty good job.
Happens all the time. Happens all the time, and the reason it happens is because we're pretty modest, right? We're, you know, we win an award. We're, you know, all I'm saying is, you know, don't change who you are, but it's okay to promote something like this when it happens to you. When you win an award, you're well deserving of it, and if you can get a push on this and get some free publicity, if you can get somebody else to cover this and say good things about you, it's just really, really powerful. And if you've never gotten free PR before, that may be the problem. You just don't know how powerful this is. And once you start to do this, you will become addicted to it because you're going to realize how important, how effective this really is. And you'll send out more press releases, and you'll get more free PR, and so on and so on.
Yeah, and this basically makes your marketing very effective. Like if you've got a good ground game direct mail, or you're in the real estate magazines, you know, in the real estate section of the paper, you've got these great ads, and then all of a sudden, you know, in some other section of the paper, there's your press release, or the paper's picked it up and written about you like they did you, Craig. That has to make all of your other marketing far more effective.
Okay, here's what I noticed. When I was publicized in the big papers like the Toronto Star, the Ottawa Citizen, I would get phone calls into the office, or I would be out in a listing appointment, and people would say this: yeah, Craig, we've heard really, really good things about you. And when I would dig deeper, like they actually hadn't talked to anybody that ever used me. Isn't that crazy? They'd never actually talked to anyone that had bought or sold through me, but here they are saying, oh yeah, we've heard some really good things about you. Well, where did they hear it from? They heard it from the Toronto Star. They heard it from the local paper, or they watched a television commercial, and they believe, this is the deal, right? They believe what they see, what they read in the paper, what they watch on television, what they hear on the radio, they believe it. So that's what happened. And look, it's really easy to convert prospects when they have this overall impression that, you know, you're like the expert in the area. So I would always chuckle to myself when they'd say, oh yeah, we've heard so many great things about you.
Yeah,
okay,
so
not from anyone I've ever dealt with, but you know, that's cool. We'll go with that.
Well, so I was having this conversation. This goes back, I guess, a couple of years now with Tim and Rosangela Johnson, and they were looking for some unique angle to get more of these accounts with these retirement centers. And I said, well, look, why don't you write a book? Like you're right in the middle of it. Why don't you write a book on the mistakes that seniors make when selling their primary residence and moving to a retirement community? Just write a book, get it published. It won't take much. You can self-publish all that stuff, and then you can approach these retirement communities, the managers there, as the author of, like you wrote the book on it. And then it'll be easier for them to grab a hold of you word will spread and leverage you for a seminar so that they can fill seats and they can sell beds. So why not do that? So they did it, and it's highly successful for them. Here's threw up on the screen here, a postcard that one of the local retirement communities used to send out to their database for this seminar that they do. And it spread like wildfire. So they were able to leverage that really nice, and they did a really good job with it. So now we've got other Platinum members that have done the same thing, Craig, whether it's e-books or written real books. I got a book in the mail from Brian Gubernick on the short sale maze roadmap that he had wrote for people in his marketplace. It was very good. He's been able to use that as leverage on his website and other marketing as well. So all of this eventually turns into free PR, especially when you're getting other communities saying it for you. So let me throw up, I think I've got another example here of where it is. Yeah, here it is. Let me see if I can shrink this down a little bit so everybody can see it. 1 second. This is the same thing featuring the Johnsons, but it was picked up by another community. And this is Willowwood, which is a Brookdale managed community. Now, Brookdale, from what I understand, owns several retirement senior citizen type living places around the Fort Lauderdale area and as well as the Southeast. So, that one entry led to several opportunities for seminars at plenty of their places. So you can see they actually, let me see if I can highlight it here. Their marketing on this postcard is not all that great, but you can see where they featured guest speakers Tim and Rosangela Johnson here, authors of the book Selling Your Home and Securing Your Financial Future in Your Golden Years. So whether it's the newspaper doing it, I guess, Craig, is the point here, or companies like corporate accounts like Tim and Rosangela are using this, it can really take hold and spread like wildfire, and it becomes free PR on many, many different levels. So I wanted to.
Hey Todd, can you give me control of the webinar for a second? Can we go to my desktop here? I want to show everyone how I'm actually still doing this right now. Today, I want to take you to my my Facebook page.
All right, I'm throwing you up there.
Okay, boom. Here we go. All right, so here's my Facebook. Can you see that now?
Make sure you show your screen.
I think I am. Is it on?
There you go. Now you can see it. There you go.
Okay. Okay, so here's the niche report. I was on the front cover of this, and there's an article there. You talk about writing a book. So I just wrote a book with Dan Kennedy. Okay. The Ultimate No-Hold-Barred Kick Butt, Take No Prisoners, Direct Marketing for Non-Direct Marketing Businesses by Dan Kennedy and Craig Proctor. So, we've got both examples that you've just cited here. Writing a book, you can leverage off that. Great way to get free PR. But also, I'm continually doing press releases for articles, and I'm on the front page of the niche report, which I'm not sure if anybody actually reads that, but I'm there. All right, so you can take it back now.
All righty.
You see, it was my birthday there, Todd. I don't know if I haven't received your gift yet. I just wanted to call your attention to that.
It was your birthday. I can see that. Yeah, what was it? 51?
We don't like to talk about that.
I knew it was somewhere around there. You got a few years on me, not many.
Hey, by the way, I would like to encourage all of you to go to my Facebook. It's just go Craig Proctor Seminars or Craig Proctor International. Say hi to us every once in a while there. Always some good stuff there. But that niche report, that just came out a day or so ago, sort of the book. So it's something, I just want to let everyone know I'm practicing what I'm preaching, even though I'm not selling real estate today. This is very valuable. And if you ever look at the way I would promote the seminars, the coaching program, anything we do, it's always an editorial style ad. You don't usually see me running an ad that's anything different than news style, because it works.
Why is that? Why is that?
Well, because if I can't get free PR, I want it to look, the perception I want to create is that it is. I want it to look as closely like news as possible. So even when you can't get free PR, if I'm buying space, I want to make it look like an article from a newspaper. And Robin Turner likes my link. Thank you, Robin. So I'm on my Facebook right now. If you like me, please come to my Facebook and like me. I'm very sensitive.
Yes,
and thank you for all the birthday wishes, folks, by the way. And I'm coming to spend a day with Todd Walters. A week tomorrow. I will be in Metro Atlanta, and Todd and I are going to spend the entire day talking about how to better serve each and every one of you.
Yep, looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we'll be busy. That's going to be a busy day. It'll fly by. All right, I want to encourage everybody on the webinar, though, to ask a question. So if you've got a question, go ahead and do that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run down through our questions list here. And I can open up your microphone. And we can take your question. I'm going to scroll down here. Let me see. The first one I saw a minute ago was from Nathan Clark. So Nathan, I hope you still got your hand raised because you've had it raised for 19 minutes. So I'm going to open up your microphone here, and we'll take your question first because I saw where you typed it out, but I know it'll be valuable for everyone at the same time. So here we go. Let's see if we can bring Nathan on there. Craig? Nathan?
Yeah, look, my arm has no more blood in it.
It's been raised for 19 minutes. That's what it says.
Hey, should I email, fax the press release? What works best there?
Okay. I'm glad you asked that question, Nathan, because I forgot to cover that. An important, consideration is, well, who do I send this stuff to? If you just send it to like anybody at the newspaper or the television station, chances are it's not going to get to the right person. Okay, so you can go online, and there's a publication, I believe it's called Gebbies.
Gebbies with a G?
Yes, I believe it is. And there's another one too, and I can't recall it. There's Gebbies and, Todd, do you remember the other one?
No.
I'll think of it. But anyway, you can just Google them, and you can purchase a list of the media contact people in your area. So that's what you want to know is who do I send the press release to? What is their email address? What is their best fax number? What is the best phone number, extension number to get a hold of these people?
I've read online that you should call before you're sending it to them to get authorization to send it to them. If you can do an email, I don't know. I've had.
Well, you want to test that because I'm sort of the mindset it's better to beg for forgiveness rather than ask for permission.
Agreed.
If you call them and say, hey, this is Nathan, the real estate agent. I want to send you a press release. They could, quite easily say, well, don't bother.
Should I be sending it to like an editor in charge or?
What's it cost you? If you're going to email them, it costs you nothing. Send it to everybody. If you're going to fax it in, it costs you a couple pennies.
Not even, yeah. Okay.
Here, I'll tell you what not to do, Nathan. If you send it out, like I said earlier, don't bother waiting by the phone or calling them and harassing them about why they didn't respond to you. Just means they weren't interested. It's better just to go back with a different press release a couple days later.
Have you ever tried mailing it to them?
I have not, but that's not a bad idea. That's actually a very good idea. Yep.
3D mail and stuff like that. That'd be a great way to get their attention.
Yeah, I mean, you're using unique creative packages and things like that.
Huh.
You could put a little clock in there, let the package tick.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Nathan. I know you. Hey, by the way, I know you're going to do a great job of this.
Thank you.
Because you're one of our members that you come on these calls and you actually go and do it.
I'm going to put in my activity, send at least one a week.
Yep, and you'll start to get free PR. I hope you get success early because then you'll be all over this. But don't
Yeah, I'm
get
gonna mail
discouraged
it.
if it doesn't happen the first time.
Yeah, I'm gonna try mailing it because I've sent them quite a few, but just sporadically. I think the mail would be a good way to get their attention. We're good at that, so.
Yep, that's a great idea.
Thank you.
Good job, Nathan. All right, now we're gonna go to Pawan. So Pawan Sharma, I'm gonna open your microphone up right here. So let's see if we can get you on the program. Pawan, you there?
Yeah, I'm still there, Todd. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man, loud and clear. Go right ahead.
Good. My question is, should I go with actually, I just planning to doing my my newspaper article first time, editorial ad, basically. Can you hear me?
Yep. Okay, I'm not sure of the question. So you're trying to get PR, or you're trying to run an editorial ad?
Editorial ad, great. It's a different question. Actually, not PR question. I'm not there yet with the PR part, but trying my way up slowly.
Okay, so you should be. What's your Metroland publication there, Pawan? What's your local?
Whitby.
Okay, what's the Whitby paper called?
Whitby newspaper. Whitby newspaper.
No, but it's got a name. Like we use the Era Banner. What's the Whitby edition of that?
That's the same. It's a Whitby newspaper. Yeah, it's only belong to Whitby basically, Whitby area.
Okay. Well, that local paper is where you want to run the editorial ads.
Yeah, in local paper. Yeah.
Yeah, and you want to make sure that it runs in with the editorial, not in the classified section.
Okay.
And you want to make sure it looks actually like news. So the font size, the type style, try to make it look as close to the
same as
type
paper
size and the font style that the newspaper uses. They'll probably make you put a thin hairline border, never a thick border, because true editorial, really doesn't have a border at all, so better with no border, but they might make you do that. They'll probably make you put advertisement or advertorial, make it as small as possible, preferably at the bottom.
Okay.
But if you want to get sellers right now, okay, if you want to get sellers, run the costly home seller campaign. Okay, so which of these costly home seller mistakes will you make when you sell your Whitby home?
Okay.
Or 11 home inspection traps to avoid when selling your Whitby home.
Okay.
Or 27 fix-up tips, 27 tips to price and prepare your home for sale.
Okay, so when I prepare
editorial
this
ads are really good at getting seller leads.
That's the first time I'm doing this. I mean, just want your opinion, both of your opinion. I mean, first time I'm doing this, and I can send you a copy, both of you.
Scan the paper, scan it in the paper after you run it the first time, and send it to Todd and I.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, and across Canada where you are, Pawan, the How to Sell Your Home Without an Agent, Save the Commission is working really well for the other Platinum members as well.
Okay, how to save a commission, right? Yeah, okay.
How to sell your
that
home,
is a very good one.
Yep, how to sell your home without an agent and save the commission. Oof. I told my story a little bit ago.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a great lead getter. And that's that one right there.
Pawan, I have a question for you. How are those postcards working for you?
Working like a charm. It's working
maybe can you share? I just want to share this story here, Pawan, because Pawan came up to my office. I don't know how long ago was it.
It's about 3 months ago. No, it was last year. Yeah.
Right, and we worked with the postcards, and I guess my advice really was, just use them exactly, make them look exactly the way I ran them. Yeah. And I don't think you and I have talked about it since, so I was just wondering how they're working, and make sure you're sending them to the right streets as well. Hey Pawan, did you buy through Leon at IMS, did you buy that $19 a month program?
Yes, I have, correct, yes.
That's really good, because it'll
help you tell you. Really helpful.
Yeah, exactly what streets to send the postcards to.
Yeah. Last month I sent about 4,500. I got about 10 leads.
Awesome. Well, hey, look, what's your average commission?
Between 8 to 10. Pretty
good, right? If you convert 1 out of 10, you make 10 grand. You're never going to stop doing that. So that's going to be one pillar under your business.
Yeah.
So, you send those out every couple weeks, plus you're doing the editorial ads. You get another 10 quality leads doing that every week, and then you run a few classified ads. So it's a layered approach. Before you know it, you're generating, 50 or 60 great leads every week, and that's all you need.
So we're working on it, Craig, working really, really hard on these things. And it's coming together.
Nice. And, hey, Pawan, we're doing another conference in Toronto in August. So
yeah,
I'm going to
coming.
be, I'm going to be, not only are you coming, I'm going to get you on one of my marketing panels if you're game.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll see you there.
Good stuff. Glad to hear you're doing well.
Thanks, Craig. Yeah, I really appreciate all the help, man. Oh, both of you. Really helpful.
Hey, thank you. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. All right.
Yep. That's a great job. All right, let me find our next victim here. I think we had Kristen. Let me see if there it is, Christina. Okay, Christina, hopefully you still got your hand raised because you've had it raised. Let me see. It'll tell me. Here we go. Christina, you there?
Yeah.
Christina, going once.
Hello?
Hey, I can hear you.
Oh, you
You got a
can?
question?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to see the members that wrote the book, is there any way that we can use that and ghostwrite it and maybe publish it and disperse it in our area?
You'll have to ask them for permission on that. I know that Tim actually did a session on this at the conference before last for Platinum members on how he did it and how he pulled it off and self-published it. It was quite an easy system to follow and duplicate, and that PowerPoint from that session is on the coaching site in the file library under Platinum Lead Generation Systems. So you should be able to go to Platinum Lead Generation Systems in the file library, click there, and you should see that PowerPoint self-explained right there. I don't have the ID number in front of me.
Okay, I have an idea. What if you approached Tim Johnson and you said, look, can I leverage off of the book that you've written? And what you do is you print up like a paper cover that goes over top of the book, and it has your name and Tim Johnson's name on it. So it looks like you've co-authored it, but it's basically, just one of those paper covers that go over the book.
Okay.
Right? So it looks like you co-authored the thing. Tim did all the work, but if he would let you do that, you're leveraging off of that.
So I would have that paper cover covering over his book. So if I just go to one of his books.
Okay, right. Like, that book I just showed you that I did with Dan Kennedy? He did that book with other guys in other industries, right? So if he's doing it with a chiropractor, it'll say Dan Kennedy and the name of the chiropractor.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Right? So, you don't have to rewrite the whole book. You just say, Tim, would you mind if I wrap the book with, it'll have, a picture of you, a picture of Tim on. You're still giving him credit, but it looks like you co-authored it. You see, the reason I did this with Dan Kennedy is Dan Kennedy is a huge name in direct response marketing. So, he's been doing this for 30 years, 40 years. He's been at the top of the industry. If I can, co-author a book with him, I'm leveraging off of all of that work, all that experience, all that credibility that he has. Well, that's what you're doing with Tim. You're leveraging off of all the work that Tim did, so you don't have to. And all you need to do is find a way so Tim can benefit and he can somehow, you can reciprocate and have him leverage off of some of the work that you've done.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you.
Hey, Todd, I have a question. What's going on with the Platinum book that we're writing?
Well, we've got chapters from a select group of agents that had interesting and unique stories. I've got them, there's still a couple of outstanding, but I've got them all sorted into a file folder, and I've been just kind of looking over them. You're working on your thing, I'm working on mine. As a matter of fact, on the screen here's a little bit of the information from some of my chapter that I put together. So, but that's
you and I should talk about this when we get together next Friday. But we could do the same thing here. We could have a wrap cover. Okay, so when Nathan's using the book, there's a picture of Nathan on the front cover. He's like, well, here's I'm an author of this book. But every one of the Platinum members who contributes to the book can have a wrap on it. You can print it, and it looks like this is a book that you've written, and you're leveraging off of everyone else in the group.
Yep, I think that's a great idea, and we should do that. We'll spend some time on that too. I'm sure we can.
Yeah, once we'll talk about this on Friday, but once we have the book done, what we'll do is we'll do a mock-up. Maybe we'll do a mock-up with Nathan on the front cover. We'll put it on the webinar here and say, how would all of you like to have this?
All right, well, let me tell everybody one more time here. Like, if you've got a question, don't be shy. Go ahead and ask it, because we've covered quite a bit of information today. As a matter of fact, I'm going to throw the coaching site back up there just so everybody can remember where to go. Resources, and then to call decks, okay, and then to call number 18, I think it was. It says 17 here on the screen, but you'll see it says public relations, and getting free PR. And you heard Nathan say it. Heck, this is part of my weekly activities now. My weekly Rainmaker activities to pull this off. So let's make sure everybody's on top of this thing. I think it's not a hard thing to do either, Craig. I mean, especially since we could just copy the templates that you've laid out, the examples laid out, as well as what to say, you know, to help these guys do their job. These newspapers.
Okay, well, watch this. Just take the editorial ad that you just mentioned. How to sell your home without an agent and save the commission. Do you think you can do a press release on that? Do you think that might get some attention in your local media? Now, if you're going to do that, you know, it's going to take a little bit of courage, because there's going to be some realtors, like you mentioned, they're going to flip out when you do that. I mean, when I ran that ad for the very first time, I had some local realtors here not too happy, but here's the question I had to ask myself. You know, am I more interested in helping buyers and sellers and having a successful business, or am I more interested in what, you know, some of these agents think about me? And we're not doing anything wrong. We're simply educating people on an option. Let's face it, they already know that that's an option for them, selling their own home. But if you're the kind of realtor that, you know, doesn't want that kind of attention, I get it. You know, don't do that.
All right, we got a question here from Mr. Mike Quell. So let me find Mike here. And all right, Mike, I'm going to unmute your microphone. You're live on the Platinum Elite Millionaire Agent Maker Coaching Webinar. Go ahead, buddy.
All right. Would it make sense to talk about set a press release about the low amounts of inventory? I would think that's sort of a hot topic right now.
Very good topic.
Yeah.
Really good topic, because I mean, everyone knows it, right? Everyone's reading in the paper, and is that newsworthy? Like a year and a half ago, we were all crying because we couldn't sell our listings. Now we can't find a listing.
Right.
So how about an article about why is that? Why?
Oh, yeah,
okay, what are we experiencing right now, and why are we experiencing it, and what's the forecast?
Yeah, I could totally write that. So what would be the hook on the press release? The top 5 reasons why home buyers now can't find homes, something like that?
Yeah, you know, you're going to have to play with some headlines, and it might be, you know, it might be newsworthy, almost like you might maybe it's like a market forecast. Okay, how about this? What city are you in?
Danvers.
Sorry?
Danvers, Massachusetts.
Okay, so Danvers home listing inventory forecast to remain whatever, you know? So you're writing it like, you know, it's newsworthy. If you know, there's a shortage of inventory. Why there's a shortage of inventory, what you project is going to happen, and if you're a home seller right now, you know, perhaps the idea is this shortage of inventory is a temporary opportunity for anybody in your city that's thinking of moving to get their home sold quickly for the most amount of money.
Sure. And maybe we could say something that we're unique in the fact that we're finding our buyers properties that no other agent is finding, off-market properties, you know, for example.
You could talk about some of the creative ways you're helping your buyers find the right home when there's a massive shortage of listings right now.
Yep.
And you might want to give a couple of examples. So one thing you might talk about is one of the services, one of the creative ways we're helping buyers find the right home is we're doing a search over the last 2 years of any home that expired off the market that might match their criteria.
We just did that this week.
Yeah. So, and you see, here's the thing. The point I want to make is, you're right, we're already doing most of this. That's the big lesson I've learned over the years is, in so many ways, I was cheating myself because there was wonderful things that I was already doing, but I wasn't telling anything about it. And remember that old marketing saying I've shared with you folks before, the more you tell, the more you sell. Right? We do a lot of things and we don't tell anybody about it. For example, how many of you have a team, but you don't promote your team? And then we complain, well, you know, Craig, when buyers and sellers call into the office, they only want to deal with me. Well, of course they only want to deal with you because that's the only thing you're promoting is you. If you have a team, you need to promote your team. If you're doing anything creative or out of the ordinary, then you need to promote it. Now, my point today is the best way to promote it is you not promoting it, but the local media promotes it. Number one, it's free, and number two, it works way better. So whatever you're doing right now to help these buyers in your marketplace find the perfect home in a marketplace that's starved for inventory, that's a great press release.
That's a great idea.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Good job, Mike.
Thank you. Hey, I want to remind everyone as well that next Wednesday, March the 13th, I'm doing a full-day seminar in Sarasota, Florida. So if you're in Florida, you want to come and spend the day with me, we have a real blockbuster turnout here. We've got over 500 agents registered for this thing, so it's a bit problematic because the room only holds 300, so we'll have to figure that one out. But anyway, if you want to bring your team, want to drop by, we'd love to see you. We'd love to have your support. And we've got a number of Platinum members, actually, that are going to be on our panel. But, of course, we always welcome more testimonials and more support. So, again, March 13th, that's next Wednesday, starts at 9 a.m. We go to 5 p.m. If you can make it, just go to craigproctor.com. You can get all the details on the address, location of the place. It's at the Hyatt, downtown Sarasota.
All right, I think we got a follow-up question, Craig, from Mr. Nathan Clark. So, Nathan, go ahead with your follow-up question, my man.
Is there a better day of the week to get a hold of these guys? Monday, Friday?
Yeah, I don't think Monday or Friday. I would say the opposite. I'd say Tuesday through Thursday.
Okay. I didn't know if they stopped printing most of the same time in the middle of the week or stuff like that, that when they're scrambling around looking for articles.
Yeah, I'd probably I'd be concerned about sending out on a Friday because it could get lost in the shuffle by Monday morning. You know, it's long forgotten about.
So it's a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You want it in their hand.
That would be my guess.
Okay.
Thanks, Nathan. All right, that about does it for our questions there, Mr. Proctor. Hey, you were talking about the event coming up in Sarasota, so I know that's going to be fantastic. But I want to remind everybody that it's not too early to go ahead and get registered for the conference coming up in Anaheim, June 6th, 7th, and 8th. So you've got you're going to be doing big super conference right there in Anaheim. We're going to be right down the hall, all the Platinum program members in a room with our big Millionaire Agent Maker Conference going on there. So I'm working on the agenda now, packing it full of sessions and information and speakers, and that's going to be fantastic. I'm looking forward to getting back out to California, Craig. It's been a little chilly here in Atlanta over the winter.
Okay, I've got a couple other dates here as well. These are live full-day seminars I'm doing. So we mentioned Sarasota. That's next Wednesday, March 13th. Then April 8th, I'm going to be in San Diego doing a full day myself there. And then on April 9th, Anaheim, California. And then on May 10th, Phoenix, Arizona. I missed one in Toronto here. April 16th in Toronto. So Pawan, well, I'll get you out to that one too if you're available, and any other Platt members here in Toronto. April 16th, full day in Toronto. That's going to be in Richmond Hill, actually. Now, if you want to find these, you can just go to craigproctor.com.
Yep, and we get all the information on that. As a matter of fact, I just threw it up on the screen. Let me throw that up there just so everybody can see that, craigproctor.com, as it streams through. So you've got all your dates there and locations of these half days. Now, Craig, this is a good question. It'd be a great way to kind of wrap up our webinar today. You do a lot of events. You've got James out there doing these events, these half-day events. Is there some real value here for our Platinum Program members to find out where these are and be there?
Yeah, a couple things. First of all, if I was you, I would be bringing your team members to these events. You know, it can't hurt them, right, hearing this over and over and over again. Also, what you'll find is you're going to benefit from it because you may hear me say something in a completely different way or hear some brand new things from me that really make a difference. You know, if you come back with one new idea, or perhaps how about this? Maybe it's not even a new idea, but it's something you've heard me talk about before that you just haven't done. How many of you would relate to that? That although you've heard me say a lot of the same things, there's quite a bit of it you haven't done. So on our webinar here today, hopefully you heard some new things, but maybe, just maybe, you heard me and Todd talk about a few things that perhaps you've heard before, but for this time, at this time, that idea resonated with you. And it's going to cause you to go out and actually do it. Even though you've heard it before, because you heard it just at the right time here today, you heard it in the right way, it's going to cause you to go back to do it. So that's the benefit of coming out to these half days and full day seminars. Of course, the benefit to me, having you there, is if you can stand up and say, yeah, this actually works, it's made my business better, my life better, you know, that is awesome. It's, you know, again, what are we relying on? Third-party endorsement. I can stand on stage all day long and say, yeah, our system's great, it's really good, but when you come and people hear you saying it about the system, works so much better. Also, you'll find this. When you're on one of our panels and you get asked questions by the audience, sometimes you're going to find that when you're teaching other people what you do, it gives you more clarity. I know that many of you in the Platinum Program, you ascend, you continue on with us, and you become eventually a coach. And our coaches say that over and over and over to again to us is you know, I'm being a coach, and actually, you know, you're paying me, which is great, but a big benefit the coaches report back to us is the clarity they get. How being a coach and coaching and teaching the system actually helps them with their own business. And I'm looking down the roster here, and look at the Platinum members that have become coaches. We've got Bill Watson and Adrian Petrilla, Masood Badre, Lester Cox, Joey Tremblay, Bob Zachmar, Kristen Stampini, Warren Flax, Bill Watson, Todd, yeah. That's how it started. You started as a member like anyone else, and you did it. You were a great implementer, a great student who now becomes a great coach. So, I mean, understand that. You got to be a great student before you can become a great coach.
Yep, it's a lot of fun, and we're always looking for people that enjoy it and are good at it too. So, but I would, like you were saying, dude, I would never miss the opportunity to try to work on your business. So if there's an event going on in town and half a day to go and do that, and the light bulbs do go off. There's no question about that. So I doubly want to encourage everyone to go to craigproctor.com and check out those seminar days and get there. So.
Okay, this is who I have for the panel next week in Sarasota. I've got Robin Turner from Cocoa Beach, Florida. Robin is confirmed he's going to be there. He's sent me a bunch of his ad examples, which is awesome. And Kristen Stampini, of course, is going to be there, and she sent me a bunch of her ad examples. that we will feature. And who else we got here? We've got Laura Peterson. She's going to be there. I think Adrian Petrilla may be there. Anyway, if you can make it, let Todd know. Send us in some of your marketing examples, and we'll get you on the panel. And then we'll take you out to lunch.
Here's one of Kristen Stampini's marketing examples right now. Her very own real estate newspaper, Palm Beach and Broward County Real Estate News. And she's after it. God, I was looking through this paper. She's got a lot of really good ads in here. And real estate sales information and editorial ads, classified, display, branded, unbranded, so she's done a good job with that. Oh, matter of fact, here's one of my favorite ads on page 7.
You know, I'm looking at these palm trees. Do you have any idea how much I miss Florida right now?
Hey, you'll be there soon.
It's been a long winter.
You'll be there soon, man. All right, so, but anyway, I think that's probably going to wrap up all the time we got today there, Mr. Proctor. But, man, fantastic program today, especially on getting PR and leveraging the success that we all have, and even the simple things that we do every day and turning those into free PR. So really appreciate all that, Craig. I know you've done a great job at it. So I want to remind everybody, just copy and you can succeed.
Yeah, and I'd like to challenge everybody to go do this. And then what I'd like to do in a couple months is share success stories, show some examples from Plat members that have actually done this. Because, Todd, even if you and I weren't successful convincing or twisting our members' ads to go out and actually do this. Not everybody will, but some of you will. So we got a second crack at this, because those of you that are actually going to go do this will show our Plat members in a couple months positive proof that this works, and then hopefully we can convince a few more to go after this opportunity.
Yep, and I want to remind everyone that when you get your press release worked up, just email it over to me, and I'll try to help you plus it if it's possible.
Great. Okay, well, I have to fly here, Todd. I want to thank all the Platinum members for being with us today, and thank you very, very much for being part of the program. Todd and I will be spending a week tomorrow, next Friday, March 15th, together, brainstorming on how we can do a better job. So if you have any suggestions on how we can do a better job and better serve you between now and next Friday, just shoot Todd an email. We'll review all this, and that's what we're here for. We want to become better and better at what we do, just like I'm sure you want to become better and better at what you do. So look, it's always fun here, Todd, to be on a webinar here with all of our members, and will everyone get back to work, and as you say, go sell some houses.
Yep, thanks a lot, Craig. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.